making sure the guys train hard, rest well, and obviously get the right amount of nutrition. The way I'd approach coaching guys is a fight. So in this case, training with Andy. The way I'd approach coaching guys is a fight is first of all laying out what I expect from them, making them understand the standards that I'd like from them. And once they understand that, I'll give them continuous feedback based on their progression throughout the sessions and along the camp, but basically picking up where they're falling short and trying to motivate them to do better, but setting the proper guidelines for them so they know what I expect from the staff. Mentally and physically, they go hand in hand. So I like to keep the fighters nice and sharp, mentally, in terms of keeping them motivated to train well, give them positive feedback when they need, and being sometimes honest and telling them where they've made mistakes. Physically, obviously, we like to make sure they've got a nice balance between skills and strength and conditioning. And I think we'll have a nice balance of that in the gym. Look, I think, you get an understanding of your fighter when they've been training with you for quite some time. You get to know them really well. So I think based on how they improve, whether it's their attitude, whether it's the work that they put in, whether it's the skills, just overall, I think there's a lot to evaluate. And I always evaluate guys on their work ethic, so how hard they want to work. So guys always want to fight for the title, but never really putting title challenger mentality and core title challenger training in. So guys want to coast and do like normal training like regular guys do and still get to fight for the title. So I make sure that the guys' work ethic is really good, and I evaluate their readiness to fight for a title based on how hard they're working and how well they're listening. So some guys will work hard but not listening, some guys will listen but not work hard. So it's finding a balance. Keeping a fighter injury-free during a camp can be difficult sometimes. There's a lot of elements to balance. One of them obviously is sparring. You can't always control what happens in sparring, especially when the guys are doing 2 to 3 sessions a day. But the best we can do is keep it as scientific as possible, making sure the guys train hard, rest well, and obviously get the right amount of nutrition. So I think the approach is always the same. So, the approach to fighting guys in Muay Thai or MMA and boxing is always the same. We want to make sure our guys are as fit as possible and have got the right amount of skills as possible, and they have the conditioning from sparring, well as their strength to be able to handle a title fight. Title fights always carry a lot of pressure, so there's nerves, there's a lot to train on. The sporting code doesn't change. The situation is the same across all sporting codes. I think what the challenge is keeping somebody injury-free during a Muay Thai fight, because you're training with elbows, with knees, where it's a lot more bone on bone, shin on shin. Muay Thai can be a little bit more taxing. Look, I think the biggest challenge that a coach will face with a fighter is going through camp with an injury. So we've had several fighters in the past that have had quite serious injuries throughout the camp, and you've got 6 to 8 weeks to prepare, whether it's an injured ankle or a broken rib or something like that where we've had to work past. I think balancing the workload to get the fighter as good as possible to the ring is always the biggest challenge, but we've managed through. We've got a very good community in terms of wanting our staff, in terms of strength and conditioning, fitness and recovery. So we often lean on a physiotherapist and a massage therapist to help the guys throughout the camp to make sure that they're recovering. So in this case, training with Andy, I think it's very difficult to get a guy who's used to doing something a certain way for many years, and then coming into my system where I do things a little bit differently. He's a hard worker, and so getting him to slow down is difficult. You know, he wants to run 30, 40 Ks a week, maybe even more. He wants to train 4 or 5 hours a session, 2 sessions a day like that. So slowing him down, reeling him in, making sure he understands, you know, that resting is also important. It is a challenge, but his energy and his motivation is second to none. You know, so it's easy to work with athletes like him. It's a lot easier to get someone to slow down than to make somebody work hard. Look, every sport does change and evolve. As a coach that's relevant, you know, who's got guys competing in this day and age, you know, you have to stay with it. So that's keeping up to date with the current fights. So watching a lot of Muay Thai, watching a lot of boxing, watching a lot of MMA, you will see the trends starting to develop. But also as a coach who's been in the game a long time, you know what works, whether it's a new style of fighting, an older style of fighting. You know, if you are, you know, smart in your approach, you know, keeping it as simple as possible, I think you can always be effective. Thank you very much. Pleasure. Thank you for there. But okay, you gotta sit down on the bike, bro.